Hello and welcome to the debate. I'm your host, Maqbool, with you at PTV World. In today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the political situation of the country, especially with, of course, the country moving closer towards the formation of government. We have, of course, seen the oath taking of Chief Ministers of Punjab and Sindh. And so we're going to be taking a look at what has been going on with reference to, of course, different parts of the country and what is going to happen, especially with regards to the post-election scenario. So we have, of course, seen Ms. Maryam Nawaz, and she became the first female Chief Minister of Punjab. And this is, of course, something that was talked about previously as well by the coalition parties who talked about supporting the PMLN and moving forward. And now, of course, we've seen the candidate that was put forward by the PMLN has taken her oath. And in terms of what she plans to do and how she wants to go ahead as part of her leadership, she's, of course, cited her father and, of course, her uncle in terms of the way that this progress is going to continue, and also has spoken about how there are a number of other things that she's going to be taking a look at, including with reference to, of course, the way that we have seen the country talk about education, talk about business, talk about health, talk about women, and something, of course, that the now elected Chief Minister has also spoken about with reference to how this is going to be one of the aspects that she's going to focus on. There's, of course, other aspects to it, which include the aspects with regards to Ramzan, with regards to economy, the relief packages that she's going to put forward too, and of course with reference to the kind of decisions that are going to be taken in respect to other political parties and the way that the PMLN is going to be engaging with all political parties at all fronts. It's something that Ms. Maryam Nawaz has also in her speech said she welcomes, and that her doors are open just like any other political party and the workers of that party. So this is going to be something which is going to happen with reference to, of course, the way that this particular leadership is going to go ahead. But it's not going to be without its challenges. So we're going to try and understand what lies ahead and how this approach is going to be manifested in actual action, and the way different political parties are going to be on board, especially with regards to what happened at the Assembly today, and of course the way that the opposition was boycotting the process, and then of course the delays that resulted. So we're going to be exploring that further in our first segment. Our next one is going to look at the situation in Sindh, in which the Chief Minister Murad is going to be taking oath tomorrow, and this is going to be something, of course, again that he has done for the third time in comparison to what we've seen in Punjab, and then, of course, in the way that the challenges of that particular province lie ahead, and the way that different political parties are going to be involved, and how his particular performance is going to move ahead and reflect the party's stance, especially in terms of the coalition, and how exactly is this going to then pan out in terms of the actual action taken on ground. So we're going to try and explore that also in our next segment and try to understand what the PPP has in mind, especially with regards to the challenges that Sindh faces, and then how this is all going to align with the overall government in process. So that's going to be our focus in the show today. For this and more, as always, in the studios, I've been joined by senior analyst Farrukh Pitafi and Raja Faisal. We've also been joined by Dr. Niaz, Murtaza, who's a political analyst, and Mr. Ramesh Arora, MPA Punjab, who have joined us online. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being part of the discussion. And Ramesh Saab, I'm going to start with you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you. Thank you, Sana.
All right, great. Welcome to the debate, and congratulations on the election of the first female Chief Minister of Punjab, Ms. Maryam Nawaz, and of course a big leader of your party. But in terms of course, the way that this is now going to unfold and the challenges that are going to be presented to her, of course, that's going to be something that we'll see in terms of how well this leadership is going to move forward. But what do you have to say in terms of the expectations that there are, in terms of the assurance and confidence that you have in her leadership as CM Punjab?
Thank you very much, Sana. First of all, let me congratulate all the Punjab people, and not only the people from Punjab, the people from Pakistan, because this is first time in the history of Pakistan that a female MPA got elected, and now she is the Chief Minister of Punjab. And credit goes to the Pakistan, credit goes to the female of all the women of Pakistan. And certainly, as you mentioned in your intro, Maryam Nawaz is the Iron Lady, and she has her own plan, agenda, roadmap, how to deliver in Pakistan, because it's the first time in the history that after partition, someone from the women is in the Chief Minister office. I am pretty confident, and as you mentioned during her speech in the Parliament, Punjab Parliament today, she talked about every aspect of, she talked about education, she talked about health, she talked about digital literacy, she talked about the stunted growth, and and particularly she talked about the minorities, she talked about the women, she talked about youth, and she said that youth is something which is very near and close to my heart, and I want to do something for the young people. And she talked about the artificial intelligence. So she touched every subject, and she touched every field where we can progress. So I'm pretty confident the plan, the agenda, the roadmap she has, and she is determined. And she also mentioned that the target set by Mia Muhammad Nawaz Sharif when he was the Chief Minister of Punjab, and the Mia Shahbaz Sharif when he was the Chief Minister of Punjab, two times. So the target is very high, and I have competition with my own seniors. So I am pretty confident the vision, the plans, uh, uh, Maryam Nawaz Sharif has. She is determined, and she will achieve those targets. And particularly one, uh, categorically, she said that there will be a zero tolerance on corruption, and I'm not going to spare anything happens wrong, and particularly if there's a corruption, I will not tolerate it. And corruption is my red line. So certainly, when she's going to start, and you saw after taking the oath, she directly had a meeting on law and order with the IG Punjab, the Chief Secretary, and other senior bureaucrats of the Punjab, and then she visited one of the police stations. I'm hopeful the way she's conducting, the way she is planning, the way she has its plans, roadmap. So certainly she will get the results, and we, as the member Provincial Assembly Punjab, as the PMLN members, so we are determined, and we will follow and we will toe the line of our leadership, and we all, the parliamentary party, the PMLN workers, they are determined and focused, and we want to bring change. And we're not only focusing these 5 years, so we are determined that on the basis of our achievement results, so certainly next 5 years will be something which we are foreseeing that we will get another term. So it entirely depends on our performance. And once the leadership is determined, we are determined, so we will get the results.
Right, and Ramesh Sahab, there was also, of course, mention with regards to the senior leadership of the PMLN, particularly, of course, her father and, of course, her uncle. And, of course, these are the examples that she's seeing growing up as well, and, of course, will be drawing inspiration from. But I want to know, especially with regards to the challenges that the country faces and where we are today, how much will she be able to draw from the leadership of her family members, of those who have been in these seats before, and especially with regards to also taking their advice, incorporating them in her leadership, while also being able to maintain her own individualistic style of leadership and what she can bring to the table?
See, Sana, she has her father, Mia Nawaz Sharif, who was the Chief Minister of Punjab, then Shahbaz Sharif, who was the Chief Minister of Punjab. So certainly that legacy will support her, and she will get you can say, not direction. She will be getting facilitated by those two senior members of the family, certainly. And likewise, as you're talking about the challenges she has to face, during last 5 years, anyone can see that what was happening in Punjab. There's a distraction in Punjab, and if you look behind of those 5 years, during those 5 years, we have lost a lot. So there are so many challenges in Punjab, and certainly she has to work hard and hard, day and night, 24 hours, 7 days a week, to get optimum results, to engage everyone. Because the situation in Punjab, you can see the price hike, inflation, and the present economic conditions, so everything. So that's why when today the opposition members boycotted the election, the Maryam Nawaz stood up, and she categorically requested them that I want that people from the opposition should come back, sit in the parliament, and there's a democratic process, there's a political process, and I want that they should take part in this democratic process rather to boycott the thing. And this is their habit. Whenever something going to happen to the country, so they will start those slogans, and they will start boycotting, they will start go for the dharna, something like that. But these are the challenges we have to face, because the opposition If there is a serious opposition, certainly the opposition will come forward and they will come up with the agenda how to improve the thing. But if there is a critic and that critic is just for the sake of critic, doing nothing, so certainly this is a challenge we have to face all the time. The music we will be listening, but we are focused towards the progress. We are focused towards output. We are focused towards the deliverance, and we will deliver to the people of Punjab so that this Punjab should progress more and more as it was progressing during the regime of 2008 to 2013 and from 2013 to 2018. So that's how we will proceed further.
Right, absolutely. Ramesh Sahab, stay with us and I'll come back to you. Dr. Niaz, with reference to, of course, what Ramesh Sahab was just pointing towards, we've, of course, seen boycotts and delays, and this perhaps may have been expected as well and is also evident of what lies ahead in terms of the challenges that the new leadership now faces in Punjab. How confident are you in terms of the ability of PMLN and, of course, the new leadership as CM Punjab to be able to tackle that? Of course, this is something that the PMLN has always put forward to and is reiterating again and again that they will be engaging with other political parties and the doors are open. But in terms of governance, how big of a challenge will that be, and what do you think will be the strength of the PMLN in terms of tackling that?
Well, there's no shortage of challenges. There's first of all the question marks over the elections and the fact that, there is an opposition which is fairly strong and which is very vociferous and is very good at agitational politics. So it won't leave any chance to, try to put the government on the back foot. So that's one challenge. And then the other challenges are on the, side of governance itself, because, the country is still facing 30 to 40% inflation. And, people are sick and tired of that. They've been having high inflation for 5 or 6 years now. And they are looking for relief. But the problem is that there is not much money to give them relief. And then there is the issue that, as the party itself has admitted, that it's taken a bit of a beating, even though it came up front. The results were, far below their own expectations. And there is a clear message from the electorate that what had worked for PMLN for the last several decades may not work. And what the PMLN model is, large scale infrastructure work, consumption oriented growth and so on, import related growth. So there's no money for that. There's no scope for that. We'll be having a very tough IMF program, which the federal government will have to sign. So that will be the challenge for Maryam Nawaz. Obviously, she has her family background, which can help her to understand the bureaucracy and how the politics works in Punjab. But then it could also be a burden in the sense that if the party, the old guard in the party, still insists on following the same governance model that they had done for so long, they'll pretty soon find out that there is no money for it, and the electorate is also looking for something new. So that's what she would have to show, use the connections of her family, but then still come up with new ideas. And that's where she'll get tested, and it will show with the kind of decisions she makes in the cabinet. If it's filled with a lot of the old guard, then that will clearly send the message that the party hasn't learned anything. But if she brings in a lot of younger people with newer ideas which can connect with the mood of the electorate, especially the youth in Punjab, which is social media savvy and so on, which is looking for something more than just infrastructure. They're looking for recognition, for merit, for upward mobility. So that will be the challenge for her on how to come up with something new.
Right. Faisal, with reference to, of course, what she has spoken about as her manifesto, as what she plans to do and what area she needs to focus on, of course, the PMLN has also earlier put it forward, but she's also talking about what she wants to do in Punjab and which area she's going to focus on. What did you make of her speech in terms of the action agendas and points that she actually raised and her plans to execute them?
Yes, and obviously, first of all, many congratulations to her of becoming first female CM of Punjab. Punjab, when we talk about Punjab, is just half of the country, And I always say that CM Punjab is always considered as a deputy prime minister of the country. Reason being, half of the population is, of course, the Punjab's population in the country. And whoever becomes CM, there is a huge responsibility on his or her shoulders. And this time around, of course, we are seeing that Maryam Nawaz is coming forward. One thing is for sure that she is actually following the footsteps of her father and her uncle. They had the successful story from within Punjab. They became CMs of Punjab, both of them, and then later on they became prime ministers of the country. Same is the case here with Maryam Nawaz. She has become CM of Punjab, and of course for the future, if she is successful this time around, then it would have an impact on her future politics as well at the national level. I'm talking about. If we come towards this particular speech, I think she has realized that this time around, as Dr. Niaz has rightly pointed out, that this time around voters are very different to the voters through which Mia Mohammad Nawaz Sharif or Mia Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif used to get elected from. This time around, we are talking about the millennials and the post-millennial voters who have different expectations than the previous voters, the pre-millennial voters. Here, of course, we know that Maryam Nawaz has rightly pointed out that she is going to put focus on AI-based, advancement, and then, of course, the emerging technologies. She is going to put efforts on that as well. She rightly knows that, in Pakistan, especially in Punjab, there's a large number of students, graduates, who are IT related graduates who have different skills, but they don't have jobs because in the certain sectors there haven't been any investments in them sectors in recent past. So she has to make sure that them sectors are flourishing, and once they are flourishing, of course, we will see that jobs will be created for the youth. Yes, there are inflation related challenges as well she is facing, and in a province like Punjab, where in today's Punjab it is really hard for a household to get even wheat or get the vegetables. And now we are talking about Punjab, that is considered an agricultural province of Pakistan, and there shouldn't be any problems like this in this province. But of course people are facing problems. People are struggling to make the ends meet, and I believe she has everything in her mind how to sort it out. Inflation, it needs to be reduced. Then we talk about creating jobs and opportunities for the youth. She has to do it. And of course, we at the same time we know that in the bucket, in the baggage, of course, we don't have enough of the money that can be spent. But of course, she can attract FDIs. She can, show her skills in bringing the money in Pakistan, in province of Punjab, so that all of these challenges can be sorted out for the future.
And you extracted all of that from this speech that was made in the House today. Okay, great. With reference to what has been said.
Sorry,
yes.
when a speech goes on, there's a dialogue also going on
in your head.
Yeah.
Right,
so it might be extraction from that.
Right. Because I want to know, I understand that all of these shoulds are there and there are challenges and there are things that need to be done. But in terms of what Faisal is saying, in terms of the ability and in terms of whether or not it will actually be achieved is of course something that again remains to be seen. So what one asks for is a plan or a direction or a framework which is followed. Is that there? Did we feel the presence of that in the speech?
Right, Sana, let me actually begin by pointing out something that is obvious. I was very young when Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto first became the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So I was not that sensitized about that glass ceiling being broken. Unfortunately, after that, nobody has gone there again. But I'm here to witness another glass ceiling being broken at the provinces level, where nobody would have thought that Punjab could have a female CM, Chief Minister. So as a father of 2 girls, I want to congratulate every daughter of the country that there is another place where you can go if you are ambitious enough. Because we teach in the schools these days that for girls also sky is the limit, or even beyond sky you can go. So I think that this also proves that there is space. And believe me, this is not merely about this party. PTI also got a chance to nominate the next CM of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Had they actually nominated somebody who was female, right, I would have celebrated that with equal gusto. Having said that, now let us talk about today's speech and the previous speech also, where she had actually taken oath and then had actually given her program, and today was a repeat of that, right? So today what one realized that PMLN, that is very good at working with bureaucracy, is learning very fast. For example, recently there were 2 provinces where you saw results actually totally sweeping the landscape. One was Sindh, the other one was Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, right? And I have some friends who are pollsters. We actually reached out to various focus groups, and we kept on asking what exactly was the critical factor that played a role. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, one thing that kept on coming back to us was the health card. And in Sindh, it was something very close to that, but a little different, and that was healthcare infrastructure. So for new CM Punjab to actually spend so much time talking about the future of healthcare in Punjab, and how exactly is it going to be actually calibrated, how you are going to actually introduce better infrastructure, and then health card, remember, is also going to be revamped and reintroduced with a better foolproof kind of security. So that is great news for me. And then of course there were many other things, like Faisal was pointing out, price control. Price control is something inflation has actually eaten up into savings of people and their lifestyles. Many people have been pushed downwards when it comes to class, right? The middle class became poor, the upper middle class became lower middle class in the past 5-6 years. So now she is also actually focusing on this as well, that price control has to be taken care of. So that is great also. Then as was pointed out about IT and how many special institutions can be created. Similarly, women rights is something that we all want to improve in this province and in this country. And she said that any daughter that goes out of her house will be protected. So this is good news. And finally, transgender are never actually mentioned in such speeches, and we saw a CM actually talking about that as well. Now, is that going to happen? As I pointed out, that of the 3 political parties that know, may it be PTI or People's Party, the one party that actually knows instinctively the language of bureaucracy, it is PMLN. We have repeatedly seen how many people have actually volunteered to participate in their programs. So I think that in coming days, there is a good likelihood that all of this will happen. But there are challenges. For example, this Punjab Assembly is badly fractured. You saw the opposition. Similarly, in Punjab, there are many people who refuse to actually accept that result. You'll have to win over them as well. So if that can happen, I think things are looking up for Punjab.
Absolutely. And this is an important factor, Ramesh Sahab. I understand that we've discussed and you've also pointed out in terms of PMLN's overall strategy and of course the new CM Punjab strategy as well in terms of opening their doors and making sure that all political parties are engaged. But how much of an effort will there be from the PMLN side with regards to actively reaching out to these political parties, particularly the Sunni Ittehad Council and of course the PTI-backed candidates that now belong to the party, and in terms of especially the Punjab Assembly, how will they be brought to the table in terms of making sure that the Assembly is vibrant and thriving? Will there be efforts made to bring people in, or is it just about opening our arms?
And when are we going to see the cabinet taking oath?
Yeah, Pitafi sahab, about the cabinet, yes, as during the speech, Chief Minister clearly highlighted that I'll be focusing on the merit, and in next, I'm pretty confident that in next 1 to 2 days, there will be cabinet in place, because without the cabinet, Chief Minister cannot work. So for that, Chief Minister needs a cabinet, of good, strong cabinet, so that she can work on her agenda, on her roadmap. About to reaching out to other political parties, uh, as I said earlier, when the people from Sunni Thought Council, the people from opposition, they boycotted, um, Madam Chief Minister stood up and she requested that I want they should come forward, they should play their role, which is a democratic role, so we can go forward. And my doors are open for everyone. So this is a gesture. Gesture means that we are open to everyone. And we want to engage all those political parties who are in the parliament to do more and more for the people of Punjab. And we are open all the times. And this is my party. Whenever the Imran Khan was Chief Prime Minister of Pakistan, Maryam Nawaz, Shahbaz Sharif stood up when he was opposition leader. He said that we want to have charter for democracy, charter for economy. That let's work together. So this is something which my party always talk about, that we want to work with every political party whosoever is in the parliament. So our doors are open, and whosoever is in the parliament, we want to work with them. Opposition should play their role. They must understand their role. What is their job as an opposition? So whatever the government is going to do, they should come forward. They should give the suggestion how we can improve our work, how we can improve our governance, how can we improve our law and order situation, how can we improve the economy of Pakistan. So this is the job, and they must play their role. Rather to boycott every time, and whatever they did today, it is not good. When we talk about the democratic process, when we talk about the political processes, if all the time you're going to boycott the parliament, you're going to boycott the session, this is not the solution. They should end the parliament, and we will take everybody on board whenever it's matter of people of Punjab.
Right, Ramesh Sab, there's of course also, when we talk about challenges, the aspect of comparisons and the aspect of how much Ms. Maryam Nawaz have been highlighted in the political arena, particularly in terms of PTI previously, and then of course with reference to the way that the previous leadership and herself were involved in exchange of words and rhetoric and in political rallies as well previously. She's been part of a lot of media coverage previously as well, and a lot of undue criticism as well. Then of course as a woman also she will be compared in this position, and then of course in terms of her relation with both her father and uncle there. And there are so many comparisons and challenges that are going to be made on these fronts. So I want to understand the strategy that the party has or the leadership has in terms of tackling that, and particularly these narratives on social media platforms.
Narrative of home?
Narrative of the criticism that might come her way.
Like, see, today she clearly said that I don't want to have any rivalry with anyone. Whatever they said, I'm going to forgive them. Now my focus is for the people of Punjab. And now her concentration would be towards the development of Punjab. So whatever they say, they clearly said that I'm going to forgive them, and I don't want to have any rivalry with them. Whatever they said, it's their way they speak. But my way of working would be I'll be more focused towards the development of Punjab. So I don't think so that we will be throwing that whatever they have done, because they have targeted not only Maryam Nawaz Sharif, they had targeted Madam Kulsoom, they had targeted Maryam Nawaz Sharif, they had targeted every senior member of the parliament, senior member of my party, the women, the youth. So they have targeted everyone, and whatever they're going to do, or whatever they're doing on the social media, you can see now what is happening on the social media. They're targeting judiciary, they're targeting army personnel, they're targeting political personalities. So this is the way, and this is how they perform. So, but we don't want to waste our time to just on those agendas, because if you're going to tackle those agendas, certainly we will be far away from people of Punjab. For whom we are here to serve. So our focus is to serve the people of Punjab. And we will be giving more and more time towards development of people of Punjab, rather to give more and more time towards their hidden motive towards their bad intentions. So I don't think so that we should waste our time towards that. These
Out
are the
of
people of
curiosity.
Punjab who
Yeah,
who are witnessing that who means business and who means instability or who means destruction, who means uh, creating bad names or bad slogans for the people.
right. Out of curiosity, Sana, what criticism is going to come from PTI? That she is not Osman Buzdar?
Could be anything you can expect from the party. Thank you very much, Ramesh Saab, for joining us and being part of the discussion. Dr. Niaz, in terms of another aspect that, of course, can be pointed out and has been previously as well, but of course is not something that is restrictive to the PMLN, is the fact that dynastic politics are involved, and then, of course, is something that is running in the family, and then that sort of stigma that is being attached to these positions and these individuals has existed for quite some time now. Do you think that Ms. Maryam Nawaz will be able to outlive that and show that whatever she is capable of doing or whatever she's able to achieve is because of her and not the fact that she belongs to certain people in the party?
Yeah, I mean, that's what, the balance that she has to strike. Use, the contacts and the knowledge of her family, but come up with her own vision because the electorate and the economy needs that. So if I look at, some of the ideas that she has given, there are a lot of discrete, unconnected ideas, laptops, IT, this, that. But what I found missing was, a comprehensive vision of development. And if you look at Punjab or any province, there are two large segments of population that need help from the government. One is, of course, the rural population, the small farmers, and the other is the informal sector. These are the two sectors which employ the bulk of the population, especially the poor people. So what are her vision for the agriculture sector, how to increase income, productivity, land tenure, access to markets, power and markets? That's what I would have liked to hear. Similarly with the informal sector, and once she has the idea, then the next question is, where is the money going to come from? And there, I would have liked to hear from her new ideas about taxation. Is she going to tax agriculture, real estate, retailers, and so on? And once she has arranged the money, then the third question is, you need an infrastructure to spend that money, which means the bureaucracy. So, reform of the bureaucracy, especially the police, because the Punjab police is, notorious in terms of its abuses. So those kind of, three things: comprehensive vision for rural areas and informal sector, where the money is going to come from, and how she's going to reform the bureaucracy. Those kind of ideas were missing, and that's what she has to show in her cabinet. If she can come up with people who can help her answer those three questions, then she'll be successful.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Niaz Murtaza, for joining us and being a part of the discussion. And of course, this is something that we're going to be seeing happening in Punjab and what unfolds there. But there's also, of course, the new leadership that is going to be sworn in tomorrow in Sindh. And we're going to be exploring that in terms of what the Pakistan People's Party and, of course, their representative is planning to implement in the province and how exactly they're going to unfold. This is, of course, not the first time that Mr. Murad Shah will be the CM of the province. It's the third term that he has. And we're going to be talking more about this by a PPP representative who's joined us online, Mr. Mustafa Abdullah Baloch, who's joined us in the debate. Thank you very much, Mustafa, for joining us. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right, so congratulations in terms of the third term as Chief Minister that Mr. Murad Shah will now be taking over in the province. And of course, this is not something new to him. He's done it before. But in terms of the current political environment and the current challenges that the country faces, of course, there will be things that will be new on that front, and there will be things that he will have to take on board moving forward. What are the plans, particularly for the province, and what sort of leadership role are we now going to be seeing Mr. Murad Shah in?
Well, Mr. Murad Shah has held the office twice before, and he has the experience because the last term was in Sindh. There was a very complicated kind of opposition where PTI was constantly agitating in the Sindh Assembly, but he tried to control the environment, and he kept a balance in the house. So I think he has a good reputation with all the parties, and he has performed earlier during the COVID-19 when there was a very critical kind of situation. So he has experience, and he's obviously a Stanford graduate. So there are a lot of plans for Karachi as well, and for the interior Sindh, where we are planning to improve the education system and health system, and trying to engage with all the mainstream political parties who are not maybe in the parliament, but we want to engage with them because we want to create an inclusive kind of environment, because the public of Sindh and the public of the country in general, they don't want more of educational politics. They want something to be, a sense of tranquility in the situation, because the economic conditions of the country cannot afford such kind of political, disagreements and engage, kind of agitation. So I think this tenure of Murad Ali Shah will bring more prosperity in Sindh and more positive things, which inshallah in coming days everybody will witness.
Mustafa Saab, you have rightly pointed out, of course, he has been very robust when it comes to, delivering to people of Sindh. And we have seen in past two of his CM ships, he's been very successful. Just wanted to know, we know that, global warming is faced by the whole world, and Pakistan too is facing it. We obviously saw that almost a year and a half ago we had floods, and them floods, they affected Sindh at a large scale, and havoc was there for the people of Sindh. We know that Sindh government has been obviously trying to cater them people, the affectees of that flood. This time around, how would Murad Ali Shah be preparing his province for any of such kind of disaster? God forbid, if it comes again, would he be prepared? Because last time around, he was obviously not that prepared that time, and then later on we saw that he has been facing problems in terms of catering the people of Sindh at that time. But now, would he be prepared, number one, and number two, still there are affectees who need help. Would they be helped?
Thank you for asking this question, because our prime focus is to make sure that those affectees of flood who have been homeless now, and their crops were ruined, and their lands were ruined, and they were going through a lot of difficult situation. So our first priority as a party is to make sure that we provide them better houses, and to give them their due right, like the damages of their crops, their cattle, and their land. So everything will be compensated with the due span, because the last time the floods were unprecedented, and nobody was even prepared for it, because it was something very difficult to handle, because Pakistan never witnessed such kind of floods. And the international media, they all covered it, because they also knew that Pakistan is the victim of this climate change, regardless that Pakistan has not been contributing in the carbon emission, not 1% even. So we have to make sure there are two things in this situation, that the federal government will make sure that the federal government emphasizes this thing to the international community, that Pakistan has already faced this repercussions of climate change, and for in the coming days, maybe you never know, because the north area of Pakistan is very cold, and the glaciers are melting. So if, God forbid, such a situation happens again, so we need some kind of support from the international community, from the West, so that we can, make sure that this kind of situation doesn't happen again. So we are ready for it, and inshallah we'll make sure that the people of Sindh do not face such kind of disasters again and again.
Right, Mustafa Sahab, you talked about earlier engaging with all political parties, and that, of course, that's part of the agenda. This is something that the party's leadership has also reiterated. But I want to know exactly what that means in terms of actions that are going to be taken, particularly in Sindh, by the new leadership, especially with regards to the political parties that also had some reservations today and expressed them in terms of not casting their votes. There was, of course, the PTI, there was the JA, and there's also, of course, engagement that may be necessary with MKMP as well. So I want to understand what sort of plans or strategies are in place in actually doing that and in order to move towards better governance.
See, Pakistan People's Party was the first party to offer PTI to form a government in center. So we accepted that their mandate was there and they should form the government, and we were ready to support them. But there was some kind of ego on that on the other side. So regardless of that, in Sindh also, we will try to engage them. And People's Party has a great expertise in engaging political players, and they have we have a history of that, because in recent local body elections there was some kind of concerns of Jamaat Islami, and they were not ready to participate. They were holding sit-in outside the Sindh Assembly. We tried to hold dialogues with them. We tried to engage them, and they returned back and participated in the local body elections. Similarly, we tried to engage MKM again and again in the past few years when MKM was part of the Sindh government. We tried to fulfill their reservations. So we'll make sure that no matter what the situation is, we'll make sure that the political environment of Sindh will be stable, because if the political environment is not stable, it will become very difficult for any government to serve the people, because political situation is directly linked with economic stability. So we'll make sure, and we'll try our best. We won't keep our ego in this thing, because Pakistan comes first. So we'll try to make sure that the political situation of Sindh remains stable for the coming 5 years.
Right, absolutely. Thank you very much, Mustafa, for joining us and being a part of the discussion. Farrukh, of course, the province of Sindh is also not going to be without its challenges. And while we see that this is the third term as opposed to what we're seeing in Punjab, it may be an entirely different setup. So how confident are we in terms of the way that the PPP is going to take this forward, and what will be the way forward, especially in terms of political engagement that we're talking about? They're saying that they've tried before, but moving ahead, how will they deal with this?
I'm going to answer both these questions. First of all, let me actually point to the performance in the past of People's Party. Somehow, because we are sitting in Islamabad or elsewhere, also media essentially is either controlled by the owners in Karachi or then in Punjab. So because of that, perhaps media has not been reporting the kind of good progress that went on. But recently I have an anecdote to share. One of my elders had spent a lot of time in Karachi and recently has settled in Islamabad. So I was there and I asked them, they asked me whether you voted. I told them I wasn't going to and I will not. And then I asked him whether he voted for somebody, and he just told me that he had to actually return a loan. I asked him, what does that mean? He said that one of his best friends lives in interior Sindh, had some liver cancer or some kind of huge problem, and they have these state-of-art hospitals that have been created, and the life was saved by that institution. So he went out and voted for People's Party despite the fact he knew that People's Party's candidate is not going to win in Islamabad. So the point is, when it comes to our media's reporting, it keeps on showing dogs actually in the surroundings of hospitals, or perhaps what happened in Larkana or similar kind of sad episodes that are there. But a lot of good has happened, and that frankly has started showing. Now regarding reaching out to PTI, I tell you there are two problems that one faces whenever you're talking about PTI. One, they have cognitive dissonance, right? And the second problem is they have severe case of ADHD. When I talk about cognitive dissonance, the only thing is today they think everything that has happened to them, fair or not, is huge, and it is a violation of every book in civilization. But 5 years ago, these were the exact kind of allegations that were being leveled against them. They kept on doing similar kind of things. The ADHD part, I think they don't appreciate where they are at right now, especially with the leaders sitting behind bars. So I think that the history gave them an opportunity, a kind of get out of jail free card. Instead of actually focusing on that rehabilitation, what they are doing is they have been trying to do, return to power for past 2 years, right? What has happened is in the end they have been actually digging the ditch further down and down, and instead of actually learning lesson from that and actually getting their leader out somehow, because now they have a better negotiating power, they once again are doing exactly the same kind of thing. President's example is also there, who refused to call the session, and now speaker is going to call this session. I hope they'll learn something.
Absolutely. Thank you, Farrukh. Thank you, Faisal, for joining us as always. There's a lot that, of course, that remains to be seen, but we'll be here to talk about it more tomorrow. That's all that we have from the show today. We'll now see you, of course, tomorrow.